Welcome to Crime Stoppers Case File Chicago.
Here's his story.
I did all kind of stuff for my brothers. I made them play with Barbies, easy bake ovens. I made them put on makeup. I could remember one funny story. I know I had to be like maybe 2, and so he probably was a little arm baby. And you know the little pamper boxes? I hid them from my mom. I put them in a box and I hid them, and she was running around the house looking for him like, where's my son? I'm like, he's gone, he's not coming back. And then when she found them, she was like, why would you put him in a pamper box? So that was just like a little jealousy thing. But as we grew up and we got very, very close, very close.
He was one of my favorite big cousins. He was always nicely dressed. He would always come around for holidays and stuff like that. I can call him for anything, and he'll try to lead me in the right direction of anything that's going on in my life. Since I'm young, like, I always get into it with my parents or something. He was like, you know, that is your parent, they know what's right for you. So he'll make me understand more. Like, it's not just my side, it's their side too.
He was a person that had an old soul. Like, we're listening to hip hop or, you know, R&B. He's in there listening to Muddy Waters, James Brown, you know, stuff to that effect. Like, who does that? Like,
Martell is a friend, and I was a mentor to him. He decided that he wanted to become a part of our organization, and he wanted to be in a different format of his life. Met Martell for his initial interview, and then from that we became friends. We started hanging out, and he said to me that he wanted to change his life. He wanted a different way of living. He knew there was another way, and he's never had anyone to show him. So I kind of took him under my wing, and from that standpoint, he came around a lot more. We had a lot of interesting conversations about life and how you can have a structured life and still have a good life. He started working with some other members of our lodge and started doing construction. And he was so proud of that because that's something that he'd never done before. We finished a bar in Chicago, and I believe he invited his mom and his family out to see what he'd done. You know, he was a part of that, you know, so we knew the change. The change was obvious, you know. His mannerism changed, his eagerness to be in a good place, you know, to be around people who were thinking differently. Which really was important for him, and it rubbed off on him in a great way. It's unfortunate that this happened.
On September 22nd, 2014, at approximately 8 p.m., East Chicago police officers were dispatched to the 4300 block of Alcott in reference to a shooting. Upon arrival, they spoke to witnesses there who stated that the victim had already been put into a car and taken to the hospital by his friends. When officers arrived at the hospital, they were advised that the victim, Martell Tillotson, had expired. Upon my arrival on the scene, I spoke to witnesses who stated that Martell visited them to place a bet on the Bears game that was that night, and he stayed for about 10-15 minutes. He walked out of the house and talked to his friends who were sitting in a white Cadillac outside the house. Martell was talking to the passenger through the passenger side window when the passenger saw a male black coming from the north approach Martell and shoot him several times in the back of the legs. This witness stated that this suspect took off running south on Alcott towards an open field and then into adjacent alley.
When I got the call that my brother had been shot, I had just got off of work. So when I got the call, they're telling me, oh, you need to get to the hospital because your brother got shot. And I'm like, my brother who? And they like, Martell.
I was at my friend's house. We were just watching TV, hanging out. And my little brother called me, and it was my mom. And she told me that he had got shot.
So it's just like I'm sitting there crying my eyes out like, you know, my brother's gone.
When I walked up the emergency ramp, my grandma and his mother looked at me. Everybody was outside of the emergency room, crying, sad, and I just knew.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case.
On September 22, 2014 at approximately 8 p.m., East Chicago police officers were dispatched to the 4300 block of Alcott in reference to a shooting. Upon arrival, they spoke to witnesses there who stated that the victim had already been put into a car and taken to the hospital by his friends. When officers arrived at the hospital, they were advised that the victim, Martell Tillotson, had expired.
It's kind of, to me, it's torn. To me, you know, people are grieving in their own way. My mother, for instance, she's grieving. She wants somebody to come forth with information about her child. I mean, it's not fair that he was took and we don't know why, what reason why somebody would come up and, you know, kill my brother. Why?
It's a big piece of our family missing.
We have a sword that we had just gotten made for Martell for his post in our lodge. And it just came in maybe about 2 weeks ago. And it is engraved his name on it. So that brought back some harsh memories because, you know, sometimes you can disclose feelings right away and sometimes they suppress and they come out later. And that one there came out later because I wasn't anticipating me feeling the way I was feeling that day when I saw that sword with his name on it.
He has children. His children are left with no father. Like, he pushed his children to do excellent in school. His kids were on the honor roll and stuff like that. Now, who do these children turn to? His 2 sons and his daughter. Who do they have to turn to? I mean, their mothers, yes, but my brother was a big part of his kids' life, a big part.
Even though you may have this poised position in your life, and even I'm at this position in my life where I'm at, even though that happens, I'm still human. And I still feel those pains and those aches from those individuals, although I may not know these individuals as well as I should. When there's anybody who becomes a membership of our organization, they become friends for life. And that's how we look at it. You know, they're part of our organization and they're people who are trying to make their lives better.
This affects a whole lot of people.
September 22nd was a semi-cool, warm night. The Bears were playing Monday Night Football that night, so when speaking to the witnesses, there was a lot of people watching that game when they heard the shots. That's where our victim went, was to a house on the Alcott to discuss a bet on the game when he went outside and he was approached and shot. Our victim, Martell Tillotson, was leaned over here on a driver's side passenger vehicle speaking to 2 of his friends when one of them noticed a male black subject approaching from the north, walk up to our victim and shoot him several times in the back and then continue running southbound on Alcott Avenue. Our victim, Martell, laid here on the ground when his 2 friends exited the vehicle, grabbed him, put him in their vehicle, and took off to the hospital for his treatment. Upon my arrival on scene, I canvassed the scene and noticed that there were several shell casings here on the sidewalk where our deceased was. Also, here was the white Cadillac that he was talking to his friends in. It also had bullet hole damage on the front of the hood. There was blood stains on the sidewalk. A canvas of the area of some of the houses, they did hear several shots. Witnesses did say they seen a male black subject wearing a black jacket, blue jeans, and a white t-shirt flee southbound through the open field into the adjacent alley.
Nobody deserves to die. Nobody, you know, no human should play Russian roulette and take nobody's life on this earth. Like, people just need to stop basically crime. This town is so small, so why keep trying to, you know, kill people? For what? What's the purpose?
I've never had this happen to me personally, but I can feel the pain. You know, come forth and disclose who it is and what happened. And trust me, it's freeing knowing that you have helped some family members close a chapter in someone's life. I mean, the family needs peace.
If you know something, come forth. I mean, I know it's a code, a street code. People don't want to say, oh, I know this. Try to be anonymous, because if I knew something about somebody who killed another family, a person's family, I'm gonna come forth. I just want justice for my brother.
The investigation has gone cold thus far. There's no new information that has come forward. We're hoping by someone seeing this show can provide information from that night. Maybe they saw something, maybe they seen or knows who the shooter is. The suspect is described as a male black, wearing a black jacket, blue jeans, and a white t-shirt. If anybody has information on this case, they can contact myself, Detective Terrence Fife, at area code 219-391-8498, or our hotline at 391-8500.
This show works. If you know anything about any of the cases you see here tonight, give our detectives a call. Every tip is important. We need to bring justice for our families and help clean up our communities. Thank you for joining us in our fight to solve crime.
Tune in next week to another episode of Crime Stoppers Case File Chicago.